Dr. Agnes Kalibata, who wasn't able to join this important dialogue this evening. So the Secretary General of the United Nations, colleagues on the panel, dear participants, all protocols observed. Let me start by congratulating Christina and the team for leading and driving the ADS engagement so far, and also dedicating this month for Africa. And as AGRA, we are really proud to be associated with the Africa Dialogue series. So indeed, there is no better title to speak about at this time than building resilient socio-agricultural food systems, key for nutrition. So this is the time our food systems have been challenged more than ever before. Like said by previous speakers, climate change has become persistent and more frequent, more severe, and the latest IPCC report, warned that it will hit hardly the already vulnerable countries. On top of climate change, we have COVID-19 disruptions, which has affected the core food systems and rendered more people hungry, as shown by the state of food insecurity in the world. Now, the ongoing conflict in the Eastern Europe has actually, again, challenged the current situation, which was induced by climate change and has actually visited upon household, communities, and nations since 2014, coupled with skyrocketing food, fertilizer prices, and now shortage of wheat, oil, fertilizers, among other commodities. What are some of the facts that we are confronted currently in Africa? We are seeing that 38 countries have rates of anemia in women of reproductive age above 30%. 50% of the 55 African Union member states have prevalent stunting rates. 15 member states still have prevalent childhood wasting rates below 5%. 18 member states have met the target of at least 50% rate of exclusive breastfeeding. 20 countries have met minimum 70% rate of vitamin A supplementation. Globally, we are off course to meet 5 out of 6 global maternal, infant, and young children nutrition targets. So these facts are compounded by climate change and the impact of extreme weather, COVID-19 global pandemic, and now, as I said earlier on, the crisis in Eastern Europe. However, despite this painted picture, and from what we learned during the 2021 Food System Summit, building resilient food systems is actually possible. Indeed, there was one specific action track which was dedicated on building resilience to vulnerabilities, shocks, and stresses. During the Food System Summit, we noted the dysfunction of our food systems, given the hunger and the nutrition, child stunting in parts of the world, while in others, there is overconsumption, accompanied by obesity and other diet-related diseases. A Food System Summit was not only a platform to identify challenges, but more so on generating game-changing ideas and solutions that got condensed into country pathways that head of state and government stepped forward to state and stress as priorities. It's important that we are having this conversation now on building resilient socio-agricultural food systems, as this is the time we're actually encouraging and supporting national government to translate these pathways into food system strategies and investment plan. From the AGRA perspective, this process is being undertaken in 2 different approaches. In one case is we're joining effort by other development partners to support national government in actually domesticating their food systems pathway and game-changing ideas into the existing national development frameworks. On the other side, there is an approach going on currently in supporting countries to develop full-fledged, costed, and implementable flagship programs around agreed upon pathways. Now, that is how we shall collectively be able to move from talk to action, including building resilience and ensuring access to safe, nutritious food as part of our contribution to the UN Secretary General's decade of action in the run-up to 2030, but also for our countries to achieve the SDGs target, as well as the CAADP Malabo Declaration targets by 2025. Lastly, with the ongoing shortage of imported food and inputs, the context of Africa, we are adjusting our response plans to focus on enhancing productivity and consumption of locally grown commodities at scale. For instance, indigenous African cereals such as millet, sorghum, teff, and even legumes, but also scaling out fertilizer replacement and also input efficiency enhancing technologies and practices through African homegrown last mile delivery infrastructures. On this note, I thank you for your kind attention.